Hello, everybody. This is I'm going to call it your mental snack for the day. I know I've been doing some movement stuff, but I wanted to do something a little bit different today. I'm not sure how it's going to work, so bear with me and we'll see how it goes. So this is a practice that I do quite regularly for when I'm just wanting to relax my brain. And I want to let my brain do some wandering, some mind wandering, where I'm not actually focused on anything in specific. I've also done it in the past when I'm feeling stressed and anxious. And I'm trying to use it as a method for self-soothing. I've used it when I feel stumped creatively, when I feel stuck energetically, when I feel stuck in my physical body. So there's lots of different ways to use this. I'm going to preface this by saying I am not an art therapist, but I do use art as therapy. And so that's what we're going to do for today's practice. So I'm going to recommend that if you don't already, pause the video and you want to grab a piece of paper. I'm just going to use my little art journal because it's easy and it's a small piece of paper and it's just what I have handy. So a piece of paper, you'll need a pen or a pencil. I like black tip felt point, black felt pens with a fine point. But it doesn't need to be that. It can be whatever you have available. If I do more videos like these, then I can talk a little bit more about the different size of nibs that I use for my pens. But for this practice, just grab whatever you've got available. It can be color, it can be red, it can be pencil crayon, it can be whatever you've got. Now, I'm going to also say that this is just one of the things that I do. It's not the only technique that I do. I usually do a combination of things. So, and actually in saying that, just because they're here, I'm actually also going to grab myself a pencil crayon. It can be a crayon for yourself. So I've got a pen or a pencil and I've got a pencil crayon. It might be nice to have two different colors, but again, it's whatever floats your boat. So let's start. There's lots of different things that you can do with regards to creative doodling. I'm not going to focus so much on different styles. We're just going to doodle. So this might be the most boring video you watch, or it could be the most amazing thing you've ever done. So, give it a try and see how it goes. So I'm just going to turn my camera around. I haven't learned how to edit things together yet. So just bear with me for a moment while I just flip my camera around so that you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to go like this, and then I'm going to go like this. Okay, there I am. Okay, so you've got your sheet of paper and you've got your one pen or two pencils. So the first thing I'm going to invite you to do is just take a moment to take a couple breaths. Just allow your mind to clear. Maybe you want to set a timer for yourself. Maybe you want to turn your ringer off. Whatever it is that is going to help you focus, that's what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm just going to take this paper clip and I'm going to clip this page down so that I don't have to worry about that. So just take a moment to catch your breath, settle in, and we're just doing this for relaxation. So you might choose to scribble in whatever way you like. You might choose to follow along with me. Again, whatever suits you is perfect. So if you're following along with me for the intents and purposes of this exercise, let's take one of your pens, your black point pen. All right. So you're settled, your feet are pressing into the floor, you're comfortable in your chair. And I'm going to start, this is my new thing that I'm liking, and I'm just going to start by I'm just going to start drawing some wavy lines. And it's great if they can intersect. We'll cross over. You can go across the page. Again, remembering I'm not actually working with a plan, I'm just drawing. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look to see where these lines join. Like, let's take this example right here. And I'm just going to create like a little web, and I'm going to fill that in each section. Again, this is just one technique. I'm going to fill that in like that. Okay. Doesn't have to be neat. And now I'm going to take this line and I'm going to follow it down. So I'm just thickening it up a little bit till, I don't know, it looks right, whatever that means. And then I'm going to do the same with this line. So again, this whole process, it's not so much about the product, it's just the process. So as you're creating or doodling, whatever it is that you're doing in this moment, just focusing on the breath and just allowing yourself to relax. You might want to think about the feel of the pen on the paper. You might want to think about the sound that's happening. You might want to consider the shape that you're creating. Focusing on the breath. Maybe you want to make the lines perfectly filled in. And even as I'm doing this, I'm feeling in this moment the rush to get to the next part of what it is I'm trying to do. Perhaps it's the pressure of me thinking that I need to show you how to do something. So I'm actually cognizant of that I'm thinking in my brain, hurry up, Ellen, get to the next bit before everyone gets bored. And then I realize, well, if they're bored, they've already stopped watching. And that's okay. Because this video is as much for me and my creative process as it is for you. Okay. So now I've created this sort of interesting situation here. Okay. So you can go ahead and you can find another junction. I'll just start one here. Right. So you can go through and you can color in all those junctions to create this little sort of web situation. Okay. Again, I'm noticing the pressure to produce something for you. And so I'm consciously just trying to let that go. Okay. All right. So you get the idea. Now, to create something visually interesting here, I'm going to use a circle. And again, the circle doesn't need to be perfect, but I just want something different. I want my eyes to see something different. And then I'm going to look at where this line joins, and I'm going to create a spot, sort of like a juncture. And it's funny because in my brain, I want to call these dendrites. Those of you that are physiology folks, think about dendrites, axial motor neurons, or the connections, neural networks. It's kind of what it looks like to me. So I'm going to do something like that. Then I might choose to come in here and do this. So again, the whole point is that you're just creating a pattern of lines, perhaps circles. But the idea is that you're just exploring what could be available. We didn't necessarily have, or I didn't necessarily have an idea of what this was going to look like. I'm simply creating something that's visually interesting and connected. And down the road, I can talk a little bit more about how we can use this for goal setting or problem solving. But for today, we're simply doodling. And again, not the most interesting video, but the hope is that you're following along and doing something. Okay, so I'm starting to get this sort of shape happening here. Now, you could stop here if you wanted. I mean, we're 12 minutes in, so that could be the extent of your timer, right? That could be the extent of how much time you want to commit to this little practice. The interesting thing is, consider how you're feeling right now, right? Total, potentially, maybe you're absorbed in exactly what it is that you were doing here. No time to worry about any of the other stuff that you had going on. Maybe. Maybe not. Okay, so now if I wanted to do some color parts, I could take my pencil crayon and then I could start to do some interesting stuff here. Again, no plan, just playing with what you've got. The simplicity of just seeing shapes and then creating something that wasn't here before. Right? We're not necessarily creating a piece of art. I think I want this whole thing to be this blue. Right? But you're just taking your focus and creating something different, something new. Maybe you want to fill this with little circles. Maybe you want to bust out and do something really wild and crazy. And then just starting to create something different. So there you go. A work in progress. It's not done, might not ever get done, or maybe it is done. Maybe it's exactly what it needs to be. Anyways, that is your movement mindful snack for the day, is how you can use doodle and art as a way to calm your brain, especially for those folks who really have a hard time sitting. The stillness is overwhelming and they need to be practicing. So this is an example of something that we can continue building and working towards, right? So coming back to that page over and over again. So I'll post this. I'm going to work on this a little bit more. I kind of like what's happening with this blue. Anyways, I hope that was helpful. If it wasn't, ignore. If you would like more, if you'd like more instruction, drop me a message. Other than that, I hope that you have a great day. Oh, before you go, maybe just take a moment, check in, see how you feel. Maybe you're super annoyed. Maybe you're like, oh yeah, I can't do that art thing. Or maybe you're like, everything is a little bit dampened down, right? It's not going to solve all of life's problems, but it might give you some perspective on what's going on in the moment for you. All right, friends, thanks so much. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.